Are we live?
Okay,
Hey,
live.
welcome to the Three Marketer Show. We are live. We are live, right? Can I see some
Episode
comment? Can I see some response from you?
20.
Yeah, this is
Hi.
episode 20. Welcome to the Three Marketer Show. As you can see, finally, we have a female guest over here. You see, for the longest time, the Three Marketers Show has been turning like four marketers, and all dudes, you see. So this is really something that we try to change. Finally, I managed to change it now. If you're watching this, whether you're watching it live or you're watching the replay, welcome to the Three Marketer Show. This is Jason, I'm your host, and I have my co-host here, Manfred, who's in the yellow, always in yellow, I think you are. And then Manfred is from Singapore, and we have Andrew. Andrew is from Malaysia, and we have Nguyen here, who is our guest today. Now, before that, just want to actually tell you that, look, if you're watching this is where we go live every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. to discuss one digital marketing related topic every week. So we've been doing this for the past 20 episodes right now. So if you have any questions regarding the topic or anything at all, you can actually type in the comment section. Even though if you're watching the replay, you can still type in, because this could give us some information about things that we want to actually bring in the future episodes. All right, so we have New today, but before we can bring her in, New has a very shaky connection over there. So we just lost her for a bit. But doesn't matter. What we're gonna do here is, she might come in and out. So now I've already made an introduction about her. So don't worry about that. She can still see your questions and all that. So anything. So can I start by introducing New a little bit? I think I met New by accident after I moved to KL. But for the longest time, right, we were both in Penang, but we never really met each other. I think we never really met. So for those who don't know,
be a very big place for us.
But seriously, we are in the same industry, you know. We were in the same industry. She's running an agency. She was actually she was with Exabytes for about a few years, only until this last year. End of last year, you actually got out. So she actually helped started Exabytes Digital, managing the team and all that. And I was still running my digital agency back then. So we kind of like, I heard about this lady definitely, because first of all, Vietnamese in the tech scene and the digital marketing scene is rare. And of course, we also heard about her reputation and all that. She's a very caliber lady. But then again, we only get to meet each other only after I moved to KL. And we met at the Starbucks
Airport.
At the office over there. Yeah, airport, I think, yes. So it was like, my goodness, of all things. But I knew actually has been working with not just SMEs, digital marketing angle, but New also has a lot of experience in terms of research. I think New can actually share with us a background a little bit. But now New is running a digital and tech company. It's called the Salt Tech. Salt Tech, SALT, Salt Tech. So basically, what the company does, she's a founder. What she does is, she is into helping companies adopt digitalization. So when we talk about digitalization, then we will actually have a few questions to ask New. But before that, New, can you quickly say hi?
Yeah,
to
hi,
the audience
hi,
and give us a brief introduction about your journey a little bit?
Yeah,
Please.
thanks, Jason, for introduction. Today, I apologize because I think Unify got some problems in the network, but I try my best. So me myself actually, because all the while I'm in research and marketing background. I've been travel all over the world. UK, I stay around 6 years.
Okay.
And then Singapore is around, I think 4 years. And Malaysia is about
you in Singapore.
So, and I'm a Vietnamese, but I think I'm now is half Malaysian also because my family is here.
Already lah.
So all the while, I think I'm more passionate. I have more passion in terms of research, marketing, but of course, the end of the day, I still love education the most because I think that is something that the legacy that we should put behind for our generation. What are we doing right now is, I think Malaysia is still far away. Back then, 2007, when I was in UK, right? My lecturer just talked about Alibaba, and then they just started. It's now 14 years already, and they become so big in terms of digitalization. I think later we will discuss on that. Why Malaysia still have a lot of potentials for us, because we still need to work very hard on this part.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yes.
Because coming from an agency angle, because I think my company was kind of similar to saw tech back then, because back then I also had a tech team that we developed things, and I really think that we still have a lot of room for improvement and all that. But I think today we want to set the angle as digitalization. So many people have different understanding about digitalization. But Nguyen, can you share with us what is your angle, what is your view in terms of what is digitalization? How can we categorize it as digitalization?
Yeah.
What could be? Yeah.
Actually, for the past few years, I've been working a lot with SME, doing a lot of SME enabler, and also work with enterprise. So I feel that different SME and enterprise, they define different types of definition. But for me, digitalization is just another means of communications. If we able to reach more people, then that we are now is coming to digitalization. We need to think how to reach more people, how to change the way we think, right? So we have to transform. And of course, when we transform, we don't go too far away, because if we go too far away, the SME tends to, create, we call that unsatisfactory distance of the customer services. So we need to make sure that when we do digitalization, we need to combine between our machine learning and also the human interaction. So that is the way that digitalization should be.
So you mean when it comes to local aspect, whether, not just local we're talking about. So digitalization is, in your opinion, a way to, it's like a communication. It's just that we change the form of communication. Is that right?
Yeah.
But
It's
you were
like now,
mentioning one, sorry.
Yeah.
Go on, please.
It's like I'm staying in Malaysia. If I don't know how to talk Malay, I cannot survive.
Now, Manfred is your friend. Manfred don't understand Malay.
I feel you, right?
Yes.
Every time they talk to me in Malay, I don't giving them a blur look.
But okay, so basically, I pick up one thing, but I couldn't remember the whole sentence. You're saying that there is a unsatisfactory distance.
Actually, this one is, I think a lot, because sometimes when we think about online to offline, we think about digitalization, we will think, oh, everything should be online, but we should be also hybrid. We should do digitalization, but we must make sure that when we do digitalize, we digitize our content. Why we need to do this? The purpose of us doing it, because it's easy, accessible, and also it's easy to get more people. Not just in Malaysia, maybe you can reach more people even on other countries. Like since all tech is set up, right? We don't just have the project in Malaysia, and we open our mind because we digitalize. That's why we can go even further. We can train people from overseas. We don't need to take the customer just from Malaysia, so we can help more customer, and we also create more opportunities for us to go to overseas in the shortened period of time, right? So that is about digitalization, which I think later we can share about why we need to do this.
Yeah, I think
the market is bigger.
Yeah, sorry? The market is bigger. I think what I pick up from News explanation, which is awesome, I think she's cutting in from communication, which is also the marketing perspective, which I totally agree. You see, I think I can relate a bit about what I encounter also, because in the past many years, we also involved in a lot of digitalization, enabling the SMEs to come on board. Certain businesses will expect that, when I go online, right, everything should be online. I can cut off my human, just very minimal. And then when it comes to digitalization, they always think that it's purely when they go online and everything is going to fly. But a lot of times it is actually not that way. You see, like Manfred is showing that face already. A lot of people think that when I start advertisement on Facebook, tomorrow I will have some catching things coming in already.
A lot of people keep thinking Facebook Ads Manager is like ATM. You put in, surely got money come out. Right?
ATM,
Definitely,
ATM.
yeah.
If that's the case, people would have been a billionaire already by now.
So, can I confirm digitalization? From what I hear from you is that basically maybe content put online, e-commerce. Okay, let me continue. Content put online, e-commerce, invoicing online, CRM online. Basically, everything that can put online is available That's how I see it, digitalization.
I think it's about, I agree with Neil from that angle whereby
Content,
digitalization
video, pay ads.
But on top of that, it should be also about, making the process so much smoother and all that. Like, for example, one of the angle definitely is when you talk about digitalization to help people really understand, one is definitely having a e-commerce, because e-commerce is really an angle that it's really huge. Like what Neil was saying, she's now taking clients from all around the world, not just in Malaysia, but if you are not able to actually having the infrastructure, we can hear you, Neil, you're good.
Yeah.
If we don't have the infrastructure, we're not able to do that. That's why news company is covering that. But on top of that, having an infrastructure is, let's say you have a website, people don't just come knocking on your website. People don't just visit for your website for no reason. Right? So that is another thing. So digitalization may come from two angles, the communication part and the infrastructure part. But Neil, let me actually lead us to the next question over here. I want to quickly look at, why do you think we need to do digitalization where we lose Neil again? Doesn't matter. She will come back.
I think COVID actually gave you a very strong reason you need to do digitalization. I'm not sure. I think Malaysia and Singapore more or less the same thing. A lot of restaurants suddenly COVID shut down, cannot eat, cannot dine in. All of them have to do takeaway. So a lot of shops, restaurants don't have website, don't have social media presence, don't have e-commerce, don't even have a delivery arm. And they are at the mercy of Grab and Foodpanda. I'm not saying Grab and Foodpanda is not good,
but they take 30%,
30% is quite tall. No?
Yeah, we are talking about 30%. I'm not sure about Singapore because Grab and Foodpanda, they take what I heard, 30%, right? 30% is almost your revenue, your profit already taken by them.
Wow. So you have to play volume,
Yeah, you have to play volume. That's why a lot of these businesses, right? They started with Grab, but they after a while they hated Grab, but they can't do anything because they have to count on them. They don't have the infrastructure. And this is one of the things that I was discussing with Neil as well, like many years back when we talk about going digital, helping people to go start an online e-commerce store and all this kind of thing. A lot of people reluctant. But what do you think, Neil? Why should businesses really look into digitalization right now, other than what we have discussed? What is in your opinion? Why should we go for digitalization?
Jason? Yeah.
Can you hear?
Yes, actually, that's why I launched SoTech, because we want to do in e-learning management, because we feel that now a lot of content, even for organization or even for schools, we don't have too much of digital content. Even companies, they do digital, but they really don't have digital content at all. The last time when I worked in Singapore, some of the companies, they even don't have, everything they do is like just a form of paperwork or Excel. They even don't have a system to keep track of it. They also don't have a need of doing this. And the teacher, maybe at school, the teacher also think that, okay, I don't need to digitalize my content because I already have a textbook, I already have this and that. But they forget something, that the kids, actually the learner also need something digital. They need to get ready when they are at school. So if the school side, we don't have a digital content, we don't have a digital so-called materials, we cannot get ready for the next generation, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Let me add something on that. I've been receiving a lot of Facebook ads on education also. I'm not talking the other topic, okay?
I don't know. You and your Facebook ads quite weird one.
Yeah. Schoolbits and Genius, they've been targeting me. So they are showing those complex mathematics problem. They're using video to explain. Well, I find it very interesting and caught my attention. And it is easier to digest for complex mathematics questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
So sorry, we have to hide Neil's face, although we have a pretty lady here. Very, very rare we have that, but we have to hide her because of action.
I think just 3 men in action.
Yeah, so you see 3 men in action, that sounds a bit wrong, but anyway, don't. So we have a lady, Neil is still there, but we try.
The show will continue to go.
Yeah, we try to off the camera to see whether the whole thing is going to be more stable. Now, totally agree. Like Chiwai was just saying, Chiwai also agreed that about the COVID. In fact, I also agree. But the thing is, I think a lot of people first, I think they are still too slow. They are still too slow in terms of adopting digital. Why? Because they are very passive. When my business is down, I receive a lot of inquiries. They say, oh, my business is down. Can you imagine? One of my coaches back then when we first started the COVID-19, they are actually a factory. They lost about few million because of COVID, because they couldn't really sell their product. They were working together with all these retail outlets and all that. So by then only they started to think about, I want to go online. But the moment they want to go online, they have this mindset that, you mean I set up a website and things can start going like what Manfred say lah. The ATM machine, once I plug it, things will come. But I think it will also lead back to basically, I think, not just we need to be ready right now, I think we need to think ahead. So I think New comes from a very good angle whereby she's already pushing for the content side, which is the education part of it, which is quite interesting. But I think basically having an online presence is not the only thing that you need. Correct?
Correct. I think Jason got a good point, because sometimes when we hire people, we actually digital specialists or digital marketers always very high demand, right, Jason?
Yep.
Nowadays.
Always.
But with Soltech, I welcome if they're willing to learn digital, they need to have a right mindset of embrace the change. If they don't embrace the change, they cannot learn any new skills, even digitalization, digital campaign, how to go online. Every day, I think, since this pandemic actually is a good and bad also, people need to learn how to adapt to the new way of doing things. It's like when you're in the jungle, you don't have any kitchen. You need to make sure that you have a kitchen to cook, right?
Yeah, you got to find a way to make fire and all that, right?
Yes, you have to find a way to make your own fire. If you don't have a lighter, you have to use the stone. So it's back to the dinosaur place. So when people exchange things, you don't have the things, I exchange to you. So now actually we are encourage people to exchange things. You stand up, you find which one is your best kind of strength. You use that, then you sell online, you buy online from other people things that you don't have. And at the same time, you sell things that you are good at, and everything you can sell in the digital forms, right?
Yeah, we're talking about education part, right? Andrew?
I think they need to, I think most SMEs, they get overwhelmed when you have so many advice, from the marketing side, from the fulfillment side. And the key thing is to take baby steps and to rapidly adopt and just roll out, So
I agree.
Like
That's
Steve
why-
Jobs said, you cannot be perfect, just ship. And you learn from there.
Well, one question I've been seeing. Sorry, one question. I've been seeing a lot of people keep saying digital transformation. So it is also considered as digitalization. Am I right to say that?
It is.
Yes,
It is. In fact,
it's a fancy word. It's a fancy word so that I can charge you more. I think.
Yeah, transformation 50,000 digitalization
Yeah.
5,000 those kind of things.
So end of the day is digitalization basically is adding another level of touch point. And
I think we are doing the same thing. Essentially, what I would probably add on here is, you're still doing the same thing, but we are thinking about how can we actually do it better. It's always the thing, right? So digitalization in a way is like when we are already selling, how can we sell more? Like this is what we have been talking about, right? We managed to go across the border. Wow, you can. Why not? Because this is the whole world is your oyster right now.
Yeah.
For me, I think digital transformation is supposed to come from a human, coming from the mindset. Again, actually, that is not something very big or very easy, we can say in one, but we need to make ourselves start first. So if our employee don't start, the company won't start.
But how would you suggest to start new? We talk about mindset. I think this is a very interesting topic. We can drill a little bit deeper over here. So how would you start? How would you start digitalization? Let's say if we were to, let's say we take a company.
Just do it. We just need to find a way of the transform all the, even if we are providing content, we need to make sure our content digitalized content. If we are selling food, we must make sure that our food, we have an e-catalog. If we're selling clothes, must make sure that we have an e-catalog for the clothes that we sell, right? So this is something that we can use. A lot of free platforms out there. Like for example, now we also have an e-commerce system, but we give free for them. If they don't have software, they don't have a system, they want to create e-catalog, we are giving them for free also. So
I think, yep, that's good.
Sorry to interrupt again, Neil. I have a slightly different opinion. I used to dine at Sake Sushi in Singapore. Sake Sushi, I think, gone in Singapore already.
Almost gone in Malaysia also, I think.
Gone in Malaysia. Okay, then
I haven't
Sake
seen a lot of
Sushi
them.
received funding from Singapore government and they digitalize in a way. They forced me to use the iPad to order.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, they forced me to use the iPad to order. Then I got so fed up. I asked the waitress come here. I straight order in front of her. I don't want to use the iPad.
Why?
Okay,
Why?
you can blame, because I find it very troublesome. I have to find the thing. I want this, I want that. I just point. So this is one thing. So when you say digitalization, I think I tweak a little bit the user, because sometimes maybe SME has older user. They don't like to use computer, or maybe they don't like to use online. So I have to tell them the reason, the benefit of, maybe say example, if you do this, normally you knock off at 6 o'clock. So if you do this, 3 o'clock, you can finish your thing, or you can do other stuff. So must mention the benefit. That's how I see it. Don't because you want to digitalize and you digitalize the whole thing, because everyone is going online. Everyone got a Facebook page, you must have Facebook. Everyone got e-commerce and e-commerce. I think that one, if you force, I always believe that you force people, the result won't be that good.
I agree with Manfred. I think I pick up from this one because I actually kind of feel the same, because I haven't dined in Sake Sushi for the longest time, because they are not, they're mediocre, really, like, they are normal sushi. But the thing is, what I feel, I agree with Manfred. You see, they have been around. They were the first who adopt so-called digitalization. Yeah. So they came up with this online, as a iPad catalog and all that. But that's a very big but here. They actually never improvise.
Yeah.
There is no improvement, which is, I think, talking about the mindset, right? This will be one of the very important thing, which is, if you talk about digitalization in terms of whether your process or your marketing, the key is not about having it digital. Start right away. I agree with you. Just start. But once you start, you need to keep on consciously improvise it along the way.
Yeah.
I think that's something that a lot of our companies are missing. They thought that I built a website, 50 years down the road, the website will still make me money. What the heck? I think that's kind of the thing that a lot of people had back then. I think we still see dinosaur websites. Do you? I still. Some Flash thing. What the heck is Flash? I have no clue. But they are
text version also.
Flash cannot come out already. So it has to be text already. Flash cannot come out already. Right?
Agree.
Yeah, so that's one of the things. But what else? When it comes to mindset, what do you think? What else can you share about mindset, Neil? I think I like the topic over here. What are the other mindset that you think that so-called the SMEs or even the enterprises should change when it comes to digitalization?
In terms of the mindset, Jason, you're asking me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the first thing is make sure that all your data in the cloud based and easy to access, because for every SME, right, we need to really make sure that our staff also ready, we are ready, and we have a tools for the staff to get ready also. Because if we don't have a tools for the staff, let's say we want them to work off the office, but we don't have a laptop, that cannot be digitalized, cannot work. Everything is still brick and mortars, right? So cloud-based is very important for all the businesses to go to digitalized. Okay. The last time when I was in Singapore, one of the caterer come and call me, asked how we can set up a catering management system. I say, we can do everything. Then first thing we will ask them, what is the challenge?
I don't have laptop.
But most of the challenge actually is not about a system. I realize that the challenge are the humans reluctant to adapt to the new things.
And in fact, I still receive inquiry about setting up server. Can you imagine that? I do. Back then we were still. I think the last time I received inquiry about setting up server in-house was about a year plus ago. A year plus ago is not too long ago. There are still people who wants to have that kind of thing, and I was thinking, why not just go cloud? I agree with you.
Go cloud.
I think
cloud.
Right? End of the day is the need to survive is a very strong motivator. You know,
Of course, I do agree that
when your boss and you kind of reject or so-called not comfortable with the idea of going on digital in any form. It could be production, it could be sales, it could be anything. But if you see that your sales is dropping day by day, and everybody else is doing it,
everyone is panic. I tell you,
you will try, you will do it. You know, it is uncomfortable. I mean, change is uncomfortable for a lot of people.
yeah.
But either that or you got to close shop. What are you going to do?
True. And I have a comment from William. William is a friend. William, let me extend the invitation. When can come over as our guest? William is actually one time from 11th Street. He's an old friend, long time ago. So William is saying, due to the differences in business model, management mindset, and business logic, common that at companies they are facing transformation dilemma when decided to go digital and make bold changes. I agree. But a lot of times, right, the mindset is one thing. I think the other thing that is hardest to change is about, I agree over here, which is the business model. I think it's a business model. You know, I personally went through the experience whereby, you see, although I'm a digital agency and I've been doing digital, and although I've been doing training, but when the COVID hit, right, we had to go through a very, very radical change in terms of changing the business model, because it's about turning offline to online. But I think when it comes to this kind of scenario, I agree with Andrew whereby because you're forced to do something, then you definitely find way. And Neil was saying that when you're being thrown into jungle, then you find either stone or wood or whatnot to make fire, right?
Yeah.
But I think business model is one of the key. And Manfred, yeah.
Yeah. So just one question. Say example, mine is totally brick and mortar. What should I first digitalize? Say example, should I have a social media presence? Should I have an e-commerce first? Should I do my CRM first? Should I do my invoicing online first? What should be the very first thing that should be digitalized?
Neil, what do you think?
For common, no, which one? Which for common industry lah?
I think I would agree with Neil. You see, when Neil started talking about when we started our conversation, Neil started saying that digitalization, the key, the one of the first thing that we need to do is about communication. So we need to change the way we communicate with our customers. Meaning that I agree with Manfred. You got to have your digital presence.
Yeah.
You see, for brick and mortar, definitely you got to have digital presence. So, but when it comes to digital presence, a lot of people were having this mindset where, oh, you mean I need to have a bloody website? But to me, I say no. Find the easiest way to kickstart, because your learning process just got started.
Yep.
So I would, like, for example, a lot of people ask me, how do I start selling online? I would definitely say no to build a website. So Chiwai, I wouldn't refer much clients to you, because I would tell them, Shopee.
Yeah. Actually, sometimes digital transformation, not just for sales, it's for operation, for efficiency as well.
Yep.
Like back then in Singapore, again, because why I like to give example, because the way they do transformation in many ways is not just doing digital, which means that we have to do advertisement on digital way, but operation. Like for example, one of the factory there, they were asking, actually that factory, they provide food across all the Singapore, airlines. Then they asked me how I can control the number of time people go and smoke, and how I can make them work more effectively.
What you do?
Control the timing for them to smoke.
Really?
So if you go smoking, I'll deduct your 0.1 hour of your leave.
Serious. One.
Sometimes
is it a Japanese firm?
Digitalization is not to control people; it's to help you work more effectively.
Is that true?
Yeah.
It's just like we use the right time, because every one of us, I think we also have family, we also have time for a lot of other priorities.
Yep.
So work and life always a different standard. So for SME, they also need to have a work-life balance, right? So we also, for digitalization, actually can help you to achieve more work in a shorter time. Agree?
But we also look at Andrew.
The classical case is of digitalization, whether you like it or not, is that 1 year ago, the term work from home is actually frowned upon by all the bosses. You got to come to office, you got to show your face in office, and whether you like it or not, 1 year down the line, business is still going, work is still being done.
And boss love work from home now.
Yeah,
work
all of a
more.
sudden they realize that, hey, I don't have to spend so much money on rent and office and all that stuff, and I can still now connect with my staff because they have to be online. I can actually connect with my staff almost anytime I want.
And you can call them at 11 o'clock at night. What the?
Yes,
Kind of like the thing,
you know.
right?
Yeah.
And Manfred, you raise your hand. You got to say
Yes,
something.
Yes, sir.
About work from home, I have a slightly different opinion. Yes, the bosses save on rental. I have know some companies actually reduce rental, in fact, stuff. But the thing is, you see, a lot of bosses that I met, especially SME bosses, they really like to see you working. Oh, really? 9 o'clock, you must 9 o'clock report. Then 6:30, knock off all this, they will catch the timing on. You need to clock in the thing. Even for me also. But the thing is, the moment work from home, they realize, shit, you can actually do this at home. Then the bosses, start thinking, then you know what they think?
They think you are actually watching drama while working, right?
No. If
No.
you can work from home, means that this job can also outsource to third world country also.
Serious.
So Manfred, you do digital marketing in Singapore. I can actually bring digital marketing to other country like other Southeast Asia country or who actually, because Singaporeans are expensive. So that really worries me. That really make me sweat.
That's on,
Right,
when
so-
you're valuable, it shouldn't sweat you. No big deal.
Yeah, so work from home tells you that actually the job can be outsourced to other countries.
Yeah.
Because bosses are always want to cut costs.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
one angle, but it may not. I agree with you. I think you have a valid point here, which makes that kind of bosses think that way. But ultimately, like New has a big New's team are mostly working from remote, right? I mean, as in like your team are from different countries, I think, right?
My team, since the NCO actually started for digital, I think we be quite busy, right? All of us will be busy if we go digitalization. But it's not just the business nature. It's also the way we try to move. So we now can reach, we have to think more positive that we can reach more people, right? So for online today, like one of my friends sent me a picture. Online, what is different between online and offline?
Okay.
Offline, which means online business, we can go, sorry, for offline business, we can go holiday
Okay.
during this time, but online business, we have to work around the clock. We have to work 24/7.
Yep.
But I
I
would
was just-
disagree. I would agree to disagree as well. Then I come back to the process setting, because I think if you know how to set things up, although then you have to think from another way, whereby you can actually make money 24/7 while you can go anywhere you want.
Sure, yeah.
That's another angle to look at it, right?
Yep.
Like
Yeah,
if you talk about, let's
definitely.
go back to education. You see now, in a way, if you're because you see, New is doing education enabling, and I'm a coach, online coach, and then Andrew is also doing her online training and coaching right now. So I think it's kind of like a topic that relates us as well. You see, like now, to be frank, I'm selling my courses all the time around 24/7. But back then, when I was doing physical training, I can only run training maybe twice a month or 3 times a month, and I need to make sure that everybody willing to come over to my center to do the training with me. But now I think it's different. So I think in a way, 2 ways to look at it. It depends on what kind of business you're in. But even when I work with a lot of e-commerce businesses, I think they are having more time. Because going digital, and then they have already put all the processes in place, which is come back to the whole thing like what Neil was mentioning just now. You need to actually after you started with the communication, then you have to come back to the so-called what do we call that, the process part, as in like how do we actually make your people kind of like enable them to onboard. I think that's the thing.
And also the education part, because for SME, right, majority of staff actually they will be non-digital. So
True.
So in order to go digital, first things we have to give them trainings on how to go digital for non-technical staff, because I do believe that non-technical staff, like for example, we have an operational or some manager, right? They really, like my manager, they never worked with the digital world or cloud-based before, but I'm willing, because they have a good mindset, good attitude, they embrace the change. And every times when we do something different, they are there, they support because they are willing to change, they're willing to learn. So that part, as the SME or the owner, you need to make sure that the learning, the career development for the staff also need to go towards that digitalization to enable them, not just enable the SME, the bosses, but sometimes I feel that the companies forget about the employees. They are the really good assets. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
I think
So
that one of the key thing in adoption or if anything new is to approach things with a sense of curiosity. If you take that path, as it's like something interesting, and you want to, it's just like discovering a new toy for guys, for example, or maybe a new trend, for example. As long as you approach with curiosity, then that will make that transition a lot more smoother.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Being defensive ain't going to help.
True. Which brings up to what William was just saying. I think William has a lot more experience because, coming from the 11th Street background, they work with a lot of onboarding, a lot of these so-called businesses to go online. So I think they have a process. But what William has a point here is he said, not need to look at a few angles, which is the structure, the culture, and the mindset, which is the employee mindset, which also come back to, sometimes the mindset can be changed by education. I recall one very important experience that I had with one of my clients. I do online training, but one organization particularly, I don't want to name them. Can you imagine that in 2 years' time, we train close to about, how many? 300-400 of them. Because their organization decided to really go full digital, as in like, not about digital, because I only specialize in digital advertising. So they decided to go full digital advertising. So they train everybody. I even train their CEOs, the directors.
To run Facebook ads.
To teach them about Facebook ads. And I even train their designer about Facebook ads. I train their programmer about Facebook ads. I train their salesperson about Facebook ads. You know what? They have a very clear mindset. They say that if the salesperson do not know how this thing is done, they will always come back and complain about the quality and all this kind of thing. But when they understand, instead of fighting, because usually sales and marketing fight. You give me this
SQM and QL.
Correct. But the thing is, when they understand what are they doing, when they know the process, when they know that, this is how you set up Facebook ads, they have different kind of understanding. They tend to work better. This is what we call, it's very interesting. You couldn't imagine, they actually spend money to train their even sales team to run ads. And my training, my corporate training isn't cheap. They spend a lot.
Very smart.
The salespeople really able to run ads.
They may not be running ads because they have in-house. In fact, this company, the whole country, they are not just in Malaysia, they are in several countries as well. They are now in-house, their Facebook ads and, especially their Facebook ads, they run in-house now.
Yeah.
They don't need to actually work with agency. They save so much money over there.
Yeah.
And then their salesperson become a good ally of the marketing team because they know what to feed back to the team. They know that, okay, judging from this, right, I think we need to tweak a little bit on this. I think the message...
use Jason's two-step funnel.
Wait, what? Okay. So I think that's the so-called a good example that I want to think. It's top down. It was a direction from the CEO, and then they say, well, they want the whole organization to go through this change. Yeah. So I think that's one classic example.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's. But wait, I what you want to actually because I think in a way we want to come back to it. Let me see. Chiwa was saying outsourcing to India, Philippines. Right. So that's the thing. Yeah. Programming and Eastern Europe. So basically,
Russian
in a way true, because now we are actually able to reach so many different people all around, right? So when it comes to digitalization, can we talk about, maybe we move back a little bit to the education part? Okay, Nguyen, what do you think SME should do in terms of from the education or content angle? Okay, maybe we can relate back to Nguyen. We lost Nguyen for a bit. Yeah, connection issue lah. So I think today's topic is a little bit broad, I would say, but I think it's very important for businesses to start looking into digitalization.
Right? It is important because COVID actually brings in actually reduce the time. Things that's supposed to happen 5 years down the road has happened now. So everybody was caught off guard.
Yeah. No, I mean, even in marketing, the key thing is you go where your audience or where your customers hang out, you see. And if now with COVID, everybody, from young all the way to old are familiar or comfortable with the idea of ordering online, doing Zoom online with their families and all those things, WhatsApping and Telegram and all those stuff, they are already there. The question is, if you as a business, if you're not there, then definitely you'll be losing out. So end of the day it's not a matter of choice. It's the crowd has moved there, and it's going to stay on like this, because once you get on the idea of ordering, I guess 2 days ago, I had to go and get a toy from my daughters, and I went to one of the larger toy stores, and they were closed because of MCO. Now, the good thing is this: they had an online store, which I can then order. Otherwise, they would have lost, my business. So they had that. So if they didn't have any online store, then I could actually order it from somewhere else. Right?
Reminds me of last time Toys R Us, they actually get somebody to do online e-commerce, and they don't want to do e-commerce. They want to focus on physical store. Then later on, was it Amazon to do the online? Then the online become a giant and eating up all the offlines.
Yeah. So
it happens
irrespective
all the
whether
time. It happens all the time. Digital. Like also another Amazon is a very classic example of eating up all these bookstores and all these kind of things. But I also want to agree with what New started. What actually she was saying is about balancing. We want to have digital, but we also need to make sure that it's actually being led and guided by human interaction, which will also come back to really like the mindset and improvisation. But New, I wanted to ask you the question about when it comes to education and content side, what are the angles that organizations should look into in terms of following or even lead the trend in terms of digitalization for the organization?
I think for us, right, we have to come back to the fundamental. Which kind of communication is the most important in our life, and we use it very often. It's verbal or non-verbal, right?
Yes.
So people are really like to see interactive content. They not just like to see things; they like to touch things. They like to feel things, And of course, it's come to content. Why we need to digitalize it? We digitalize because we need to create different forms. Like now we do video, live stream, we create the urgency, create interactive with our interactive kind of communication with our audience. That's why we got our LMS that we can really interact. The learner also can interact within the organization during the live stream. Not just like listen, like now even I turn off the video, you might not see my face, but if I press or click or play a game with you, I can have some kind of a score, competitions with you during the live stream. How do you think it sounds? And then when I do live stream, we also can interact. That's why a lot of time e-commerce, why they do live stream is more successful, because people like to see things in real.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely.
At least, although I don't touch it, at least I get to see, right? It's like the five senses. Although we lose the touching, we still, I can see.
But I still can type. I type with you, right? Sometimes I type, I say, hey, I'm here. So we try to use multiple communications in daily basis. To be honest, we are using it, but we just don't know about it only. So for learning content marketing, we need to do that kind of for multimedia. We actually, for SME, normally we just create maybe just like you run the Facebook ads. So when we run the Facebook ads, everyone is doing the same thing. It's become a standard, right? So that's why a lot of social content creators, they have to create different things. But nowadays, I can see a lot of, when I work with SME, I work with more companies that need digitalization because they are vulnerable, they're affected by the COVID-19. I see they really can know how to write a content even better than digital marketing specialists.
Okay.
Because,
because they
the-
know their business, right?
because they use more layman, and now people also like
Right.
more layman, right? I think Jason, maybe it works somehow for some ads and work for organization. The ads should be different. For SME, the content or the ad write up also should be different. It should be more layman. Then we talk about digitalized content, right? So when digitalize the content, we can really do A/B testing. We can do test which one is okay, and based on that, we also can have a data, right? Sometimes Facebook also got data, so you can see from data that which one work better. So which one work better, and then we can continue to write this, because we write for our audience. We don't write for ourselves.
I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
totally agree with this. And I just received one of email coming from Andrew because I'm in his mailing list. I agree with you, Andrew. You were saying that at the end of the day, you need to focus on who are you actually writing this for. And I totally agree with Neil, where when it comes to digital, which is totally different from the commercial. I mean, as in the conventional way, is you won't be able to just put up a billboard and test it A/B split test a billboard, right? But you can A/B split test at that. I always like to say this, cannot be, right? You cannot just put it up for 2 weeks, you got no sales, then you want to bring it down. Wow, that's the bomb. But Facebook ads or a lot of digital kind of thing is very fluid. So I think that also come back to one of the very important mindset that businesses or even managers that wants to help the organization to adopt digitalization is we have to really stay fluid, as in we have to have this fluid mindset that it's about constant change. I think I want to bring back to one of the conversations that I had with my student the other day, because I'm running a 6-day challenge right now. So the other day, somebody asked me, Jason, how come people do live and I do live? People do live, a lot of people watch one, but when I do live, nothing happened. And I was telling them, but at the end of the day, a lot of people, when they are actually trying to go digitalization, I think they always like to learn from people. Learning is one thing, but improvisation is another thing that is lacking among people. Because they thought that when I learn this method, like let's say you learn my 2-step funnel framework, then it has to work. But I did tell you that the 2-step funnel framework is just a framework. Okay, the framework works as a framework, but you need to adopt it into your business. Now, when it comes to the internalization is really something a lot of businesses should look into. Like the other day, I was just talking about the live case. I said, you know what? I started my live also. It was so disheartening because there's only 2 person watching, me and Andrew, good friend. But then after that, no more, then how? But, then, okay, fine. Once you have done this, you have done this. First, you need to actually kind of like keep it running, because people don't just know you and come over to look at you. Then second thing is, we also need to keep on changing the way we present, which I agree with Neil, maybe it's about the language that I use. Maybe it's about the way I present it. I didn't make it layman enough for people to understand, or you didn't make it interactive enough. So when it comes to content, it's about the content that you have to really, even the content itself, when you're doing live, you need to craft it. You need to fine tune it along the way. I think that will come back to another thing that a lot of businesses must have when it comes to digitalization, in my opinion, is, the willingness to go with the flow and improvise along the way.
So even, continue, my friend.
I just want to add, I took Jason's course before for the 2-step funnel. He'd been mentioning about the retargeting. He has been saying that 1,001 times. I hear it, I understand, but somehow I just cannot practice and put it in.
What the heck?
Yeah, let me finish first. Then keep doing here. Then I realize, how come I never implement the thing? It will take a bit of time. So results is not so obvious. I understand, but somehow I didn't implement. I still stumble roadblocks. So things happen, and don't be too. You don't get results instantaneously, You have to do it. It will be good if you're in a community and people point out your blind spot. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree, because I've been preaching about my 2-step funnel framework for many years. Sorry, it's not supposed to talk about 2-step funnel, but Benford, what the heck you? But anyway, you see, the thing is this,
It's Wednesday evening.
No, the framework itself, it's very obvious, to be frank. It's very obvious, but it's not easy to really
It took me a long time to get it inside my head. Then from there, I understand. Then how long to
Like
implement?
lightning, right? Because this is
Takes a
habitual.
while.
It's habitual. You are changing habit.
Yes.
Mm.
When we are going digitalization, right? In many angles, whether you're talking about communication or the process or the operation and all that, you are changing habit. The moment you are changing habit, it really takes time. Just like you quit smoking, also cannot happen overnight, man. It takes time. So I think it's the same thing. So I agree with mentor. Many people come back to me, they attended twice. I tell you, the whole courses and all that, cannot get the idea. Practice for a few months, then only repeat.
I understand what you're saying, but somehow cannot implement.
It's in a way that.
Uh,
But Andrew,
Well, I
you wanted to
think
say something?
this is a classic case of knowing and then experiencing. For example, when people talk about going to recording a video or going to Facebook Live, you know the technical stuff, you know what is needed and all the stuff. But until you actually flick on the camera and say go live and go through that experience, you will not be able to consult both of them. So
Correct.
even if Jason, he can explain in video, in training, whatever about the two-step funnel, or for that matter, anything, but until you run that ads and then you put money in it and you see that it's not working, it's working, or whatever it is, then only you then be able to consult the idea or the knowledge that you have. So with
That brings
digitalization, same thing.
Yeah, I totally agree. That brings back to the education part. I'm trying to relate this thing because in a way, right, education, I mean, when it comes to digitalization, I do believe that it involves a lot of education. It involves a lot of education, and not just education. We're talking about continuous education because you're changing habit. So I think New had a point just now when she was pointing because for the benefit today's news as our guest. So New has a so-called, what do we call, the LMS, which is a learning management system. And News company has a few software, but one thing that took my attention just now, they got my attention the other day, was really her system. So what she is trying to do with the LMS is really to further improvise, to enable the coaches or the trainers to actually educate better. Whether not just using the face-to-face training kind of thing or video training, you have an element of interactive quizzes and all that, which I think that's a very normal thing to do. Because if you talk about other platforms, right, they may have it, they may not have it, but the thing is, it's already a very big investment for people to come in. But if you are a coach, I mean, I'm just giving a shout out to Neil over here. If you need help in terms of digitalizing your content, whether it's for your own and for your organization, right, I really want to actually, I strongly recommend that you talk to Neil, because I'm still understanding her system because it looks like a lot of things inside, but I think she's pushing it. What I like about News mindset, because coming from her background, operated a agency before and now still having started another agency and having her research background and all that, I think she is a bit forward thinking than a lot of us. So what she's trying to do here is she's trying to constantly improvise, which is the thing that I want to say.
I think the keyword would be gamification of your education.
Yes,
I think for everything we start is from education, from learning, because to teach is to learn is to experience, because when we learn, we won't experience anything. So like just now, Andrew say about experience, the keyword is, I like it very much. You have to experience the whole journey. It's like comparing between the street-wise and the academic-wise.
Right.
It's totally different because I'm from a research background. Back then, 14 years ago, when I studied quantitative research, my SPSS, right, actually it's a form of the language for the research. I cry into tears, I throw my books, I pass.
I actually wanted to say that 14 years, you look very young.
SPSS.
SPSS is a monster, man. My goodness.
What is that? What is SPSS?
It's a research tool.
Yes, and also statistics, basically.
Research and statistics. SPSS. Oh my God.
Failed in school.
Wow, I was now think back. It's like a nightmare. Neil, why you bring back? Neil is back. Is Neil back? Hi, Neil. Okay, because Neil was talking about SPSS. Oh my God. Because I study economics,
But when I was back then, I worked for AC Nelson. I use a lot
Okay.
even more advanced than SPSS, and I don't
Right.
cry at all.
So when you
That's why
experience,
the
you
difference
use it,
between
right?
you experience yourself and you learn from school is totally different.
That's
So
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
you have to experience, yeah.
I
So when we
never like
learn,
the
we
experience.
experience,
Never like the experience.
yeah.
Oh my god, it's because I think a lot of thing about educational, as in like whatever education system that we have, right? I now new brings back my nightmare, so it recalls a little bit of a bad memory back then. SPSS, I have no clue. I didn't know why would I want to need that. Why do I learn that for? That's the reason why I hate it so much, I think.
For the
Yeah,
survey purposes.
the way I look at it, why do I need this? What the heck do I want to learn this
So
for?
if you know the reason why you need to do this, it will help you to learn it. Can I
I
rightly
think
say that?
yes.
Correct. The purpose. I like the word there.
Simon
It's-
Sinek start with why. Simon
Yes.
Sinek, the golden
okay.
circle.
It's true. I think it's true. I think he has a very solid point over here.
The why, the how, the
Yeah.
what.
That's why we're talking about why we need to digitalize. Why? This is the purpose of us to go digitalization. Everything we do, we just talk about purpose because we want to reach more people. We want to help more people. We serve more people. Either you want to increase your product segmentation or your market share segmentation, right? So it's different types of the growth. It's back to the business mindset as well, organization mindset. You want to have what kind of strategy this year for your companies? You want to grow, or you want to retain the employees, or you want to retain the customer, or you want to grow to different countries, right? So this serves all the purpose.
So
I
in a
give
way,
you one wrong reason for why for Singapore. Because people are doing, I also need to do.
I think that's the normal mindset of most SMEs. But I think
People
New just
do, I also
line out.
need to.
Yeah, I think New just line out a very clear path here. First, when you talk about digitalization, it's not just about selling or operational, but digitalization can be anywhere in the entire organization. But we need to start with the purpose. Why do we want to digitalize? Once you have the purpose, you need to have an outcome. You're trying to line up what do you want to achieve.
Right.
Like Neil was saying, either you want to retain your employees or you want to increase your sales. So you have a purpose and then you have a goal, which is a KPI. And then after that, you need to put into process about, you need to break it into a progressive things like how do I want to actually
Milestones,
learn along the way? Like milestones, correct. So if I want to do this by when I need to achieve something. And then progressively, that's the last thing, which is progressive improvement, whereby, same thing comes to Facebook advertising. If I'm doing like, 50 cents per click, how can I move it to 40 cents per click next week? Or even 48 cents per click next week, or 46 cents per click next week. So if you are able to do continuous improvisation, once you have a whole framework in place, it becomes very natural thing to just evolve, right? So that's, in a way, now we have a clearer idea about what is digitalization and how can we approach digitalization.
Which brings us to William's post.
Yeah, William has this, William said the
bigger
bigger
the
the company,
company,
the harder
the
it
harder
gets.
it-
That's true.
Yep.
All comes back to people with this feedback. I'm not aware. Communication breakdown. I don't
Yeah.
know, which is the purpose.
That's why William need a LMS so that we can
William,
build
you
a
need to talk
career.
to Neil. William. You see,
William
William is
can-
definitely ready to teach, I think.
No, but I don't want to.
Yeah. So I think this is very structured way to look at, in a way,
Yeah.
he's already offering a framework. When you're able to answer
Good.
this question, right, then you're able to actually do your digitalization in a better way.
If you look at William's case, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
it's basically I don't think it's called resistance. It's basically an excuse. For example, if you ask any one of the staff, right, irrespective of ranking, all the way down to the driver, I can bet you each one of them already have a Facebook account.
Yep.
So the fact that they are not aware doesn't hold water. Number
Yeah.
2 is I don't know. Okay, so you need staff training. If you can run Facebook, not run Facebook ads, but if you can get on social media, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and most likely they're already on TikTok when I'm not even on TikTok.
What the hell is TikTok?
Staff training out. So I don't know, but I don't want to. So the key thing is not I don't know. Very likely it's I don't want to, because
I'm not willing. I'm not willing.
because they don't want to take on additional responsibility.
True.
True.
right?
Agree.
That's
So
very
but in big organization, this is possible because end of the day, they can hide among their colleagues, you see. And in small organization, let's say the four of us are running a business or something, all four of us, we can't hide. If we don't do anything, we will show up like a sore thumb. So big organization, it's not my problem, it's somebody else's problem, it's an IT problem, or it's a HR problem. So it's easy to point fingers.
Yep.
So
They say it's agency's problem.
It's a weather's problem lah.
Every time Tio one.
Might as well lah.
They will have tons of problems.
Yeah, it's always the problem, but we never look at the way to solve problem, right?
it's never, So it's never a digital problem, it's a human problem.
I think it's true.
That is definitely right. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it
this
boils
is
down
not the right mindset.
Yes.
True. Thank you for sharing this, William. I think I want to bring. Let me talk to William in a bit. Now, so that leads us to this. I think we had a very awesome discussion, but let's pass the baton over to Manfred a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Manfred, it's your turn.
Okay, my turn.
Your wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
because
but
every week, right,
let me
we have
remind
wow.
you do pass us your website or Facebook.
You're new. Can you type your website into the
so that later
chat so
we
that I
will
can actually-
Jason will share that one. But for my turn, my wow. Actually, I
Yeah.
want my
I share there.
Okay.
Yep, I see you.
All right.
So
Okay, let me share. I share first,
what is your wow? Also ask
AlsoUs.com.
Okay.
This one, Jason can help me put on the Facebook and the
I'm putting
YouTube
it out.
comment. So today's topic is digitalization. So I key in digitalization.
Wait. Let me bring you in
Share the
first. Now you're in.
No problem. So
Okay.
the keyword I key in is digitalization. The language is English. The region I put Singapore. This is very similar to Ask the Public. So basically, it's more for content generation. As they ask you a lot of questions, you can see I zoom out all the thing. So like digitalization, what is the difference between digitalization and how come two different spelling? Okay, what is digitalization in medicine, in banking, purpose of
It's like
digitalization?
mind map.
Mind map.
Yeah. As a mind map. Yep. Well, this is great for content generation, man.
I think yes.
This is great for content generation.
Zoom this thing out. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. Hold on, let me press this one. Sorry, these two I seldom use.
It's okay.
Top 3 trends. So all these questions you can play around with this thing. But the algorithm takes a bit of time to generate. So that's why I actually preload this thing first. Yeah. So I only left 9 searches. So you can play around with these things. So I say again, this is also ask.com, very good for content. They give you all the questions. You can play around with it. Just put in one keyword.
Yeah, I'm going to try this out.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think this is cool.
Good.
See, TY so sweet, you, TY. Before I post the website, you already put it up, huh? TY, the next thing I know you're going to do is you're going to add new as friend, I know. Anyway, okay, so that's the website. I've already put it into the comment. You guys can visit new. And I think it's a very interesting topic that we have here. I think next round we can have New to come on board again to really share deeper about LMS, because you have an LMS that we can talk about what makes a good LMS, because I am using LMS, learning management system, because I have my online course, and Andrew has also experienced a few. I think a lot of people are looking for a better solution, or maybe I would rather say, what works better for our part of the world or any usage. So I think that could be something that we can have a further discussion next week. But
because most of people will think that LMS is for bigger organization, but for me, when we have kids already, study, education, or anything supposed to be from young.
True, I totally agree.
Yeah. So we need to really go out to SME, to all individual tutors, teachers, because our software anyways, SAS model, and it's on Amazon. So it's scalable, secure, and it's also very affordable, because for me, more on passion rather than just profit for that
You have
system.
no clue, she uses Amazon and she's only charging so cheap on a monthly fee. Totally
So
insane.
the rest of the fee, Jason will pay.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that behind the scene. So, okay, I mean, thank you so much, Neil. Thank you for having.
Thank you so much, team. Yeah.
And yeah, I think eventually, it's really a very good discussion, at least to clear out, because a lot of people, like Manfred just now, when he was talking to me just now, he has no clue what is digitalization. It sounds like a very big topic, but to break it down, I hope we have kind of like clarified with Neil's help. We kind of found a way, and with William's help, we kind of found several patterns available for us to start thinking about how do we digitalize our businesses. But nonetheless, you got to start. I think the whole idea here is that you can plan 1,000 things. If you don't start, you do not know how to improvise along the way. I think that's the whole key takeaway that we want to actually wrap it up today with. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching this. This is the Three Marketers Show. I'm Jason, your host. We have Andrew, we have Manfred, and we have our guest here, Neil from ScottTech. Do look her up on the website. Please, visit her if you are, if you need help in digitalization. Look for Neil. That's the person that you want to talk to. All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you very much for your
same
time.
time at 10 p.m. All right. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Stay safe.
Stay safe. That's very important. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.